Continuing coverage of Marvin Mendoza, a 20-year-old illegal immigrant accused of raping an 82-year-old Martin County woman inside her own home, a crime that should have never happened. Mendoza remains behind bars and his bond was increased yesterday. The governor recently cited his case to illustrate that crimes from the southern border have reached Florida. And thanks to a law that has been in the books for about 15 years now, Mendoza was quickly linked to the crime with DNA evidence.
Yeah, our Andrew Lofholm has more on that and why other states could be adopting similar measures.
It was in the mid-2000s, and Martin County Sheriff William Snyder was a lawmaker in Tallahassee. He introduced a bill that would let law enforcement take the DNA from someone arrested for a felony, but not necessarily convicted. Now, eventually, it became law. There's a man locked up here at the Martin County Jail, accused of raping an elderly woman. His DNA from a previous arrest is a key reason why. The night after an elderly woman was raped in the Hidden Harbor Estates neighborhood in Martin County, 20-year-old Marvin Leon Mendoza was picked up by the Martin County Sheriff's Office as he was leaving that neighborhood for acting suspiciously. In the meantime, the DNA found at the scene where an 82-year-old woman was raped in Hidden Harbor was being analyzed.
The DNA made it so much faster, and that enabled us to prevent him in the interim while we investigated to commit another crime.
The DNA was a match. Mendoza had been arrested before for a felony, so his DNA was in a national database.
Even though he had never been convicted of a felony, we were able to solve our crime here and not only bring justice and comfort for that victim, but who knows what we prevented.
Florida is one of at least 30 states that take DNA from arrestees. Then a member of the Florida House, Snyder, introduced the bill that would eventually let law enforcement here take DNA.
When we did it back in 06, 08, it was kind of cutting edge. There weren't as many states, but since then there's been more states have come online. It really is the way to do business.
Critics of taking DNA say someone arrested loses their presumption of innocence.
The issue with that, though, is that nobody is saying that because we took your DNA, you're more likely to be guilty or it's a contributing factor in your guilt or innocence. It's not.
Snyder says it's an extension of what they already do when you're arrested. Take your picture and get a thumbprint. The victim in this case says her attacker was wearing a mask, making it impossible to identify him. Criminals can also wear gloves to conceal their fingerprints. DNA is hard to hide.
It is pretty hard to do much in a crime scene without leaving behind your DNA.
From lawmaker to law enforcer, Snyder helped create the law that he's now using to solve crimes. In Martin County, Andrew Lofholm, CBS 12 News.
Congressman Brian Mast weighing in on the border crisis today in a tweet saying, quote, Martin County is stepping up to do what President Biden will not. Thank you, Sheriff Snyder and Governor DeSantis.